Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you might be watching this. I bet it's good morning. This is a new book by the author Matt de la Pena. I have read a few of his other books, Last Stop on Market Street, as well as the book Love we listened to a few weeks ago. This is such a cool book called Milo Imagines the World. I know that you all are super creative and think about things in all kinds of ways that we don't know about, but here's what I love. This kid Milo is out and imagining the stories behind all these people he sees on his adventure, and he kind of makes up what their lives might be like. But it's important to remember that even though we think we know what someone's life could be like because maybe they live somewhere that we don't or get to do things we don't ever truly know what anyone else's life is like. So I love this book. This takes place, Milo's riding a Subway. Now, you guys might not know what a Subway is, not the restaurant where you get sandwiches. If you've ever been on the light rail downtown, it's very much like that. Some big cities like New York City have a Subway, so people ride trains all over to get from place to place instead of driving. Some of you may have traveled in cities that have that, but that's what Milo's doing. He's traveling on a Subway, so just making sure you know about what that is. And he's on a long subway ride. The subways in New York City have entrances that look like this. Maybe you've been there. If you haven't, very cool place to visit one day. I hope you get to go. Very different from how we live here. And I love that. So I hope you'll think about what Milo sees, how he makes up the story for all these people, but what lesson he learns too. Okay, this is Milo Imagines the World by Matt de la Pena and illustrated by Christian Robinson. What begins as a slow, distant glow grows and grows into a tired train that clatters down the tracks. A cool rush of wind quiets into a screech of steel, and when the doors slide open, Milo slips aboard. Now, I know I told you to focus on what Milo learns, but let's think about the word choice this author uses. The train clatters down the tracks, a cool rush of wind quiets into a screech of steel, and when the door slides open, Milo slips aboard. I mean, great description. The train bucks back into motion as he and his sister squeeze onto bench seats. The whiskered man, Mrs. Crawford's there in the window. She made me giggle. The whiskered man beside Milo has a face of concentration. A businessman has a blank, lonely face. The wedding-dressed woman near the far door has a face made out of light, while the dog peeking out of her handbag has no face at all, just a long, lolling tongue. Look, he's noticing all these things about the people. This must be the woman who he says is a wedding-dressed woman. She's in a fancy white dress. And here I'm going to guess that this is the businessman and the whiskered man beside Milo. That's maybe this guy. Do you ever go to a public place and kind of notice all the differences in the people around you? These monthly Sunday subway rides are never ending. And as usual, Milo is a shook up soda. Excitement stacked on top of worry, on top of confusion, on top of love. To keep himself from bursting, he studies the faces around him and makes pictures of their lives. At a downtown local stop, the whiskered man folds up his crossword and hurries off the train. What a great description for all the emotions Milo's feeling, like a shook up soda. You guys know what that means? If you shake a soda, you don't open it because it'll explode. That's how he's feeling inside. I feel like we could use that in some of our descriptions of our zones, right? How we're feeling, maybe like a shook up soda. All right, so Milo's now going to imagine the man who just left. Milo imagines him trudging through brown mounds of slush. It's a 5-flight climb to his cluttered apartment where he's greeted by mewling cats and burrowing rats. Late that night, parakeets tweet songs of longing as the man sips tepid soup hunched over a game of solitaire. Ooh, he's got parakeets and cats. Late that night, the door to the parakeet cage mysteriously falls open, and the cats gather on the cold sill to watch the birds fly free above the city. Milo tugs his sister's sleeve and holds up his picture, But even when she turns to look, he can tell she doesn't see. She's a shook up soda too. See, sister's not too interested in his story. Why do you think they're all shook up sodas? So much emotion. It's a long subway ride. I wonder where they're headed. A boy in a suit boards the train with his dad. His hair is a perfect part, and there is not a single scuff on his bright white Nikes. Ooh, he's dressed up. Milo imagines the clop, clop, clop of the horse. Oh, hold on. I skipped a page, guys. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. Milo imagines the clop, clop, clop of the horse-drawn carriage that will carry him to his castle. He looks like a king. Imagines the clink, clink, clink of the guards slowly lowering the drawbridge. Across the human-made moat, the boy is met by a butler, 2 maids, and a gourmet chef offering crust-free sandwich squares. He's imagining that boy's like a prince. Milo flips to a fresh page at a bustling midtown stop. When the wedding dress woman strides off the train, a band of street performers launches into "Here Comes the Bride," and everyone on the platform stops and cheers. Milo imagines the grand cathedral ceremony where the couple will be pronounced husband and wife. Imagines the groom whisking his new bride to an awaiting hot air balloon where the pilot loads them in with blankets and blasts the heat. And up they go, hand in hand, beyond the concrete walls of the city into the infinite blue. Milo holds up this picture too, but his sister just shoos him away. Can't you see I'm playing my game? He watches her thumbs bang around her smudged screen, then turns back to the boy in the suit. They lock eyes for a few long seconds, and suddenly it feels like the walls are closing in around Milo too. The spell is broken when a crew of breakers bounds onto the train. Breakers means break dancers. They're coming on to dance on the train. Announcing, "You all ready for a show?" Several curious faces look up as the beat drops, and now the girls are walking up walls. They're whirling around the poles. They're back flipping over shopping bags. When the train pulls into the next stop, they collect a few dollars and scramble for another car. Milo imagines them going from train to train, doing their act as everyone watches. But even after the performances are over, faces still follow their every move. When they walk down the electronics aisle at the department store, when they cross into the fancy neighborhood. Milo doesn't really like this picture, so he puts away his pad and turns to his reflection in the window. What do people imagine about his face? Can they see him reciting his volcano poem to his class? Can they hear his mom's soothing voice reading him a bedtime book over the phone? Can they smell the Chile Colorado bubbling in a pot in his auntie's apartment near the cemetery? Do you think we would know that about his life, just imagining him there in the window? Butterflies flood Milo's stomach when it's finally their stop. He follows his sister onto the cold station platform and up the stairs. Above ground, he's surprised to see the boy in the suit just a few paces ahead. He's even more surprised when the boy joins the long line to pass through the metal detector. Milo's sister suddenly bends to give him a hug. "I didn't mean to snap at you," she says. She takes his hand, adding, "You have your picture ready?" He nods, feeling the warmth of her fingers. As they slowly shuffle forward, Milo studies the boy in the suit, his dad rubbing his thin shoulders, and a thought occurs to him. Maybe you can't really know anyone just by looking at their face. So Milo's imagined him as like a prince, right? Wondering about his life. Look at all these people are lined up to go somewhere and they have to go through the metal detector. Milo tries to reimagine all the pictures that he made on the train. Maybe he could have done it like this instead. Or this. Welcome home. Or this. Milo's chest fills with excitement when he spots his mom through the crowd. His sister rushes to give her a hug before pulling Milo in too, and it's in this tight tangle of familiar arms that he feels most alive. Can you see Milo and his sister and his mom? Do you guys know where they are? Would we have ever imagined that all these people maybe were going to visit somebody in jail? When they separate, Milo flips through his pad until he finds the right picture. I made this for you, he says, holding it up, and he watches for the smile he hopes will spread across his mom's face. Look at it's a picture of them all eating ice cream. Maybe that's what Milo hopes. And that's how the story ends. So, friends, this is an interesting book, right? I would really love for you to talk about and think about what is the message we're supposed to take away that this author is trying to show us about making up stories about people based on what we see, or what maybe we don't know about other people's lives that we should think about. Everyone has a story that they're carrying around with them that we might not know about, and maybe we should ask or think about when we get to know somebody or wonder about their world. Have a great day.